So, Edie, MEGA's quite a unique organisation, quite an interesting organisation in this space of export credit, political risk. I just wanted to ask you what kind of projects you guys are involved in, what kind of work you're doing, particularly with regards to how you interact with other organisations, ECAs on the private market, and certainly in the area of infrastructure development.
Great, thanks, Paul. As a multilateral part of the World Bank, MEGA's role in the market is really to bring capacity, particularly for transactions that are more challenging in markets that are riskier, where maybe the private market or even ECAs aren't willing to go without some kind of multilateral involvement. And we're seeing, I think, increasingly that transactions are getting larger, they're getting more challenging, and they require capacity from all parts of the market. So MEGA, as well as private market, as well as the public agencies and ECAs. So our role is often to try to complement what's available, to fill gaps where maybe the market can't address the financing needs for a given project. And through our reinsurance program, we mobilize quite a bit of private market capacity behind us on transactions where maybe the private market wouldn't do it without having MEGA or some other multilateral type involvement.
Yeah, so it's this catalyzing function. And I guess this is something I talked with Nabil about a little bit earlier. Obviously, as you say, within the ECA space, there's a recognition of a requirement for these longer tenors, and that's obviously somewhere that MEGA is really able to be that backstop.
Exactly. We have the ability to go very long tenor, 15 to 20 years, and we have the ability to mobilize very large amounts of insurance capacity. So as an example, last year we did a large project in Angola, the Kambambe hydropower project. There were other ECAs also providing financing alongside a MEGA guaranteed tranche. We were able to provide capacity for 12 years for Angola, covering sovereign risk. It was pretty important in terms of being able to complement and complete that financing package for Angola.
Yeah, and having the World Bank behind that is obviously a major boon in terms of dealing with particularly sort of governments and the recognition of what that guarantee represents, I guess.
Exactly. That's the value proposition that we offer investors as well as banks. It's what we bring to the table is the umbrella of the World Bank, the deterrence, if you will. So if there is a problem, MEGA has that ability to step in, resolve disputes before they actually have to become insurance claims. It's a different business model from a private insurer or even from some of the public agencies. It makes MEGA somewhat unique, but I do believe that in a number of transactions we've been really critical in terms of what we can bring to the table and that ability to not only mobilize capacity, but to solve problems when they arise in projects.
Mm-hmm. And you mentioned the power project in Africa. Mm-hmm. What are your predictions for the rest of the year for 2015? Where do you see the focus of what MEGA are doing and for this industry? Where do you see it heading?
Well, we see still very strong demand for MEGA guarantees, particularly the political risk guarantees, which is the traditional product that we've had for 25 years. I think it's because investors are more concerned about risks. You look at what's happening in the world. There's risk in places like Ukraine. We've got situations in Africa. Everywhere you look, there seems to be something bubbling up and developing. So for that reason, we see a lot of demand. I think it'll be a strong year for MEGA, particularly I think in Africa, which is a focus for us, where we're seeing a number of important projects in power, infrastructure, also agribusiness. So I'm optimistic about at least our role right now in the market, which is very important to provide some stability as well. There's a lot of volatility. There is a lot of capacity out there in the market, but at the same time, there isn't always enough capacity for the projects that really need to happen in the developing markets.
Sure. So I mean, while there's still geopolitical volatility, there's always going to be a role for these kinds of guarantees and this kind of product.
Exactly, and our role is really to stay in the market when maybe other players are pulling out. Our role, as I said, is to take the more challenging transactions that maybe the market doesn't want to do on its own or without some kind of entity like MEGA. And we'll continue to focus on those types of projects and those types of markets.
Great. Okay. Well, thanks very much for sharing that with us.
Okay. Great. Thanks.